I would love to welcome everybody to today's webinar, which is all about starting a side hustle, which I think is very relevant at this time when we're all after some extra dollars. My name is Betty Andrews. I'm the founder of Hstl&Hrt, and we connect women with coaches and mentors to help them thrive in business and life. And I am here with Jada Perfect. Hello. She's one of our amazing business coaches. She is gorgeous on the inside and out. And today, we're going to be talking about how to get your side hustle going, what a side hustle even means, how you start it, how much time should you be spending on it. So over to you. Tell us a bit about your background and how you got to be a business coach and your businesses.
So I actually started my first business at 19. And I was actually just having a conversation just the other day with one of my staff members, and she asked me, when was the first time that you actually started realizing that you wanted to be involved with business? And I actually started laughing, because this actually started when I was around 6 years old in year 1.
Wow.
And I was saying, I know, right? Because these things actually come very early on.
Yeah.
So I was saying to my mom, like, Mom, I want to do jobs. How do I get pocket money? And that's really where the journey started. So it was early on. I bought my first business though at 19. From then until now, I've owned and operated 7 small businesses, 3 in which I still run and operate today. So that's Boss Lady Events, Boss Lady Media, and then my pizza shop with my husband, which is Sesame Pizza. So they're the 3 businesses I've got at the minute. I completed a master's in business 2 years ago after studying part-time for 8 years, because I was juggling the 9-to-5 full-time job working at a financial provider. And then I was constantly side hustling. Like, I always had something going, different businesses, different projects I was working on, and different things that were happening. So perfect conversation topic today with, what exactly is a side hustle and how do you start it? Because I've been there, I've done it.
Yes.
With my business at the moment, what we do predominantly at Boss Lady Events is we're a community. So we run face-to-face networking events for women in business, or women who are looking to further their career or try to find what their passion is and turn that passion into profit. Because essentially a business is just a hobby unless it's actually making you money.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're a community there at Boss Lady Events. That started up around 2 years ago, and that was when I was at a stage in my life where I'd finished studying, I'd just been married, the pizza shop was running smoothly. I had been let go of my full-time job. I was made redundant. So I was at that stage where I was like, what am I going to do now? I need to actually be getting another side hustle going, because I'm so passionate about small business and also being very busy.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I started to do. And I started assessing that all of my friends were coming to me asking me for business advice. I was always doing great events for birthdays, Christmas, my wedding, friends' birthdays. They were calling me and asking me, can I plan their parties and stuff like that. So it was actually my husband that came along and said to me, well, babe, what can you do with this? Like, let's try to do something with this. Put all these things that you love together and try to make it into a business. So in the very early days, it was really just me going and pitching to 6 women that I was inspired by, and that I don't want to say that they were my direct friends. They were people I knew either from Instagram or in the community or through mutual friends.
Right.
And I sat those women down. I invited them to the first event. I sat them down and I pretty much pitched my idea to them about what I was thinking of doing. And we played at an event between the 6 of us. So we were all a guest speaker.
Yeah.
We were all doing the networking activities. We were all enjoying the delicious meal, the lunch. And from there, it just grew. So my first event was 6 people. From then until now, I'm now doing events 70, 80 people, selling out with waiting lists 20 plus, which is amazing. So, it's been a long journey. I've got staff and built a team. So the side hustle, as much as it still is my side hustle, because the pizza shop is my full-time stream of income, Boss Ladies is potentially you know, leading the way from a side hustle into a full-time business.
Right.
So that's a little bit about my journey. From then, from Boss Ladies events starting until now, we've also launched Boss Lady Media.
Oh.
So what this is it's a creative agency. So we do things like social media management, we create content, we do websites, design, graphic design. So I was getting a lot of people from the community coming and asking me, who's managing your social media accounts, who's capturing content, who's doing your videos? And I'm like, well, we're actually doing everything internally.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 graphic designers that work with me that are part of my team, and we have worked together to build this brand and build this business together. And an event manager as well, who's also my sister.
Huh, amazing. Keep it in the family.
My sister works in the business as well. And it's really just been, it's been gradual. It's been listening to our clients, what they want, and servicing their needs. We do want to essentially be the one-stop business shop, being the boss lady, where we can do everything that a small business needs. And that's where the business coaching came into play. So I was getting a lot of questions about support, the unknown territory, you know, clients not understanding. And that's when I started to offer these services and obviously partnered up with Hstl&Hrt.
Yes, to become one of our fabulous coaches. Amazing. That's a really good recap. Thank you so much. You sound busy, and I think
very busy.
I think that can be one of the things that people kind of struggle with, because I know some people, like, it's called a side hustle for a reason, because you're doing something else as your main focus. It could be a day job. It could be that you're a full-time mom. It could be that you have a part-time job and you'll have a side hustle on top of that. So let's start, like, from the big picture. Like, if you want to have a side hustle, how do you even make time for that without burning out? I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah. For me, I really think it's starting off a side hustle has got to be something that you're passionate about and something that you love. So, you know, starting to try to find what that is a great starting point. And then later down the track, assessing how you can turn that passion into being a profit.
Yeah.
So with a business and starting up in the early days, it's taking that side hustle as time out for yourself.
Right.
So that's your time to look after yourself and not burn out, to rejuvenate yourself from work, mum life, wife life, everything that's going on in the world. It's that time out to put aside so you can have some you time.
Yes.
So I think that that's probably the starting point of where to look at, you know, developing a side hustle, is looking at what you love to do and what your hobbies are. For example, with me, I absolutely love catching up with my friends, getting dressed up, having a great time. And I really, really enjoy having meaningful conversations, not just, you know, surface level. I want to go deeper than that. I want to talk about what's really going on in your life, what I can do to help you. And that itself has been me firsthand developing a business based on what my passion is.
Yeah.
So it never really feels like, when I'm hosting an event and I'm planning an event, it never really feels like I'm working. So I don't feel I'm burnt out.
Right. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah. So because you're passionate about it and you love it, you know, these are the things I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is a bit of pressure, you know, coming up the week before event week. Pressure definitely does come into it. But that's always going to happen no matter what you're doing, whether it's a job, a side hustle, the pressure of going back to school and getting the kids prepared. These are just everyday life pressures. The pressure of, you know, knowing Mother's Day is around the corner and you've got to get mum a great gift.
Yeah.
So the pressure that comes with it is not negative pressure. It's definitely positive pressure, because it's something that you're passionate about, you love doing, and that this is time for you to enjoy yourself with whatever it may be.
Right. Okay. So it can be fun. It just, because it's a side hustle, it doesn't mean that it has to feel like work is the point.
Look, it definitely should never be feeling like there's any negative feelings or thoughts coming through. If that is the case, I would definitely suggest going back to the drawing board and reassessing what it is that you do that you love. You might love cooking and you might not feel like, you know, it's a chore. For me personally, I cook. So for me to be baking in the kitchen or cooking you know, long 3-hour meals every single day, I wouldn't find that enjoyable. Whereas with someone who loves that and is passionate about cooking, they wouldn't see that as actually feeling like it's work.
Yeah.
Because that's what they enjoy. It's passion.
Right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's what people forget when they think about side hustle, because often people are doing it because they need more money, and that's what it comes down to. They need more money to save for a holiday, or they need money because it's COVID-19 and they might have lost their job, or they've been, a lot of my friends have been asked to step down a day or 2 days or even half time or even for 2 months completely off work, and like they want to get something up. So what are like some of the ways that you can start to discover what it is that you should be doing? Because I know we're saying it's about what you're passionate about, but is there like any sort of frameworks that people can work with when they're thinking about ideas for a side hustle in the first place?
Look, if they're wanting to make money, if the sole intention is because you are wanting to generate more income, then I would be looking at quick things that you can do today. For example, if you have a car, you could start Uber driving.
Right.
Uber driving is a great one. The other thing that's a really good one is cleaning people's homes, walking people's dogs, and washing their dogs.
Oh.
If you're an animal person, that one is definitely a great one. The one that you would actually be very surprised with is mowing lawns. So going and actually door knocking and mowing people's lawns. Even though these markets aren't saturated, there's opportunity and there's people willing to go and actually pay for these services. I know with me, for example, I said to my husband the other week, this is a bit gross, but it's definitely a business idea. My bins were actually really disgusting and they had maggots, because that happens, right?
Right.
And I went at the front. My husband, he wasn't at home. He was out and about. And I looked into the bin and it was like over like maggots there. And I was like, I can't, like I genuinely cannot do this. I can't clean it.
Right.
So I waited for my husband to come home, and then I said to him, babe, we're going to need to clean out these bins. And he said, what would you do if I wasn't here? Clean them. Like, what if you didn't have me do this? What would you do? And I said, well, I would go out in the marketplace and I would look for someone that can actually offer this service. There's a potential business idea. Thinking of things that people don't want to do is a great one, because you know, to get someone to come and clean out your bins for, you know, let's even say $10 a bin, 3 bins is $30. Say it's an hour's worth of work, you've just made $30 an hour.
Yeah, which is like really good money at this time where you might not be making any at all, and you don't want to say stack shelves or whatever. And I've also found like the websites like Airtasker and TaskRabbit and things like that. There's so many people that are listing the things that they need. So it's almost like listing as well. Like say, you know, you've got skills in writing or designing. You could almost like go and see who needs your help on those sites as well. Like there's people actually advertising for that, isn't there?
Definitely. The other one that's a really good one is proofreading.
Oh, yep.
Whether it be for social media, it could be for blogging, it could be for businesses sending out design. I know with me, I'm not great with spelling. I'm not a great proofreader. My staff that are creatives, they're not either. So we're constantly reaching out to people that we know that send us messages like, hey guys, you made a spelling error, or hey guys, you done this. I do it all the time. That's an opportunity. Proofreading may seem like it's not needed, but for business owners that don't have that strength, it's great. That's a service you can offer.
Yeah, that's so true. Definitely. I think as well, like one of the ways, because I do sort of freelance writing and social media on the side to support Hstl&Hrt because it's still a startup. And the one way, because people are always asking me like, how do you get clients? And the way that I do it is I literally like will put hairdressers Sydney into Google, and I'll put it together a little pack on PowerPoint of my skills, and I'll make like say 3 packages for copywriting, sort of bronze, silver and gold, and I'll put the prices in there and what you'll get and how many hours that it will take, right? And then a bit about myself, and then I'll send that to the first 5 pages of Google, and is in like the first 5 listed websites. So we're probably talking what, like this 10, so like 50 websites, and I do that via industry. So I might be like, who needs content? Often like hairdressers, like any kind of business does.
Yeah, any business,
I'll do it for. And then sometimes I do to design agencies, because I'm thinking, okay, who would need a writer? And it, like, people that are designing might not be writers, or they might be very talented and do both. So I'll hit up, 100 design agencies, and once I've done that in Sydney, I might then do it in Melbourne. If you hit up so many people, like I always say, for every 100 potential clients that I reach out to, 4 might come back to me, which it's low. 4 might come back to me, and maybe 1 or 2 convert. But if you know that those numbers are guaranteed, and with me they always have been, then you know that that's more chance than you had before. And you do that for 2 hours every day, like you're likely to start drumming up business, right?
Most definitely. And this is taking initiative yourself to do that. It's not waiting for them to give you a call or to, reach out to you. It's about you actually making that step to say, okay, I need to be generating more income. This is the services I can offer. Let me pick up the phone. Let me send a pitch email. Let me DM them on Instagram. Let me reach out and tell them why they need me.
Yeah, 100%. And not just, like, I always feel like on LinkedIn or Instagram, you have to be a little like less salesy. Like in an email, sometimes you can be a bit more salesy, but I get people that add me on LinkedIn and they don't even say hello, and they just sell to me straight away. And it's all about the way you do it. And the other thing to note is that I think everyone always thinks that you need a website. Well, I actually didn't have a content website for 8-9 years. I only put one up 2 months ago. And like you can send people to your LinkedIn if it's good enough. You can create a Google Slides sheet and link people to that to act as your website. Or if you really want a website, you can create a Squarespace one. And I did mine in 2.5 hours. It was easy, and it's 2 weeks free trial, and you can set everything up, all the email like forms. So setting up like the way to reach out to people and a hub online is not that difficult either, right?
Or even through Linktree as well is another good one.
Oh, yeah.
You can put your links, and you can actually attach PDFs and things like that onto it.
That's a
great idea. It's just, and it's free.
Yeah, exactly. It's free.
That's the best bit.
Explain what a Linktree is, just for everyone who might not know.
So Linktree it's like a landing page where you can actually put each individual thing that's happening, or each service offering, clear and in order of ranking. So for example, I might put events, my latest webinar, Boss Lady Media Services, the latest event I've been to, or tickets to purchase. So you can rank them into order, and you don't need to actually have a website to do this.
Right.
You can set it up without a website, and it's also free. So it's like a highlight reel of what customers or potential clients need to see. It could be links to your portfolio, your work, YouTube channel, social media, anywhere that you're wanting them to go or see, you can link them up to that on there.
Amazing. And okay, so you've got your idea, and you might create then a Linktree or like Squarespace if you wanted to. What's the best way, apart from emailing, to get the word out there about your new side hustle?
Yeah, definitely starting social media.
Okay.
So for me, with my businesses, with the Boss Lady, I just started an Instagram account. At this stage, the algorithm was there.
Right.
So, this shouldn't be a reason for people not to set up these profiles, because they are still successful. They do still work. So I started an Instagram. So I definitely suggest Facebook or Instagram, depending on where you believe your client target market would be. Now, usually you are your dream client, because you're the one that is offering that service or product, because you yourself would buy it.
Yep.
Or pay to have it, So usually where you go, if you're predominantly on Facebook, then I would be driving Facebook a lot more. If you yourself, I know with me, with Boss Ladies, I was predominantly on Instagram. So I was driving all of my traffic, and everything that I was putting in, all my energy was going into Instagram.
Right.
So definitely starting up the social media channels.
Yeah.
Even looking at doing you don't need to do a full business plan, but just making plans as to, what you're wanting from the business, setting some goals, looking at making a few decisions in terms of how you're marketing. What social media channel are you going to be on? Are you going to start collecting an email list? Are you going to be putting things onto your personal profile? Are you going to be calling up all your friends and family to let them know, hey, I've now started this business? This is how you can support me. So it's about reaching out and making decisions based on where you're going to be, what you're going to do, and then what you're going to be selling it for. Because the price point is something that a lot of people are unsure about. But the real reality is that a business is a hobby unless you are making money from it. So you're not starting this side hustle so that you can break even or lose money. You're starting it because you're wanting to generate more income or more funding. Save up for that holiday, you know, get help with your education, pay for whatever, your home renovations, whatever it may be. But making a plan about what exactly it is that you're wanting from it. So potentially a small business plan, also doing a financial plan, like a financial forecast, how much money you've got to invest into the business, what you're deciding to spend that money on. And the third one is definitely the marketing plan. So looking at where you'll be marketing to the business, whether it's social media, through letterbox drop, picking up the phone, email, cold emailing, whatever it is making the decision about what you're going to be doing in that order.
Right. And what do I mean, I know you said start on social media, but is that the most effective way to get like a quick sort of reaction to your business and see what's working, or is letterbox dropping, like dropping stuff off in people's letterboxes, more effective? What do you reckon?
The truth is it will depend on the business, and in the early days it's trial and error. So for example, with Boss Ladies, 80% of my clientele comes from Instagram leads. 20% is from word of mouth, roughly.
Yeah, right.
Once they come along to an event, then we've worked out that they usually come to an event again, and they tell a friend and another friend and another friend.
Yeah. So
that is what works for me. For me, Facebook and Instagram ads convert. Whereas in comparison to my pizza shop, the letterbox drop with a menu in the mail is my highest form of marketing. That's what converts sales.
Right.
So in the early days, my advice is to try a bit of everything.
Yep.
Trial and error, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then assess once you've actually done it. We're not going to know everything overnight. We're not going to be making millions of dollars overnight. We're not going to be knowing, you know, exactly where the business is headed overnight. But with a plan and with trial and error, we can start to see patterns, and asking friends and family members what their thoughts are, what their opinions are as a customer, not as a friend or a family member, but from a customer's point of view. As a customer, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, totally. And I think like once with Hstl&Hrt, I was applying to a business accelerator, and they said, you know, a lot of people jump straight on to building a website without knowing if there's any interest. And they said and it's exactly what you've said, one of the quickest ways to see if this business is going to work is to actually just create a landing page, which again, through Squarespace or Linktree or, you know, even just a Facebook page, and ask people to sign up if they're interested. And that email, so that's what we did. Like, we didn't build the website. We didn't launch the coaching profiles for like a year. And then what we did was, I mean, this is probably like more on a big scale business, but if you want to take your side hustle, I mean, you might not have it yet, but if you want to take it full time, they really recommend then doing user interviews. And I tried to do it with my friends and family, and they were just really biased. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to go out to strangers, which was really scary. And I'd never really done that before. So I said to them, I was like, okay, if you give me half an hour of your time on video, then we'll offer you 20% off coaching, you know, when we launch. And I actually managed to interview 50 strangers over Zoom just like this. And it was there that, oh my God, it took bloody forever. It was like an hour per interview. Like, so you've got to be like, and I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but you can also do like quick surveys on SurveyMonkey, or, you know, just 5 top questions like you get people to answer. And from those complaints that people have about, so for me in the coaching industry, people were just like really sick of the fact that they didn't know where to look for a coach. Some coaches were really expensive and they felt like they couldn't afford them. So it's like, we knew that we had to create one place where people didn't have to Google anymore. We had to make it like affordable for them. Like when we're talking to Afterpay. So if you can Afterpay your shoes, why can't you Afterpay your self-development, which is an area you're working on? But I would never have got that without those interviews. So I think there's something to be said about what you think you can create in a business versus actually what people need. So sometimes asking around what people have actually got issues with, right?
Well, that's right. And it's asking people, you know, what their thoughts are on this. I'm thinking, like, for me, had my first, it was a lunch, 6 people. I played out the event as I thought I would. And then I asked them at the end, would you pay to come and do this? Would you pay? Would you this? Would you that? And that's where I built, that was my market research. That was me searching. These were not my friends. These were people who inspired me. So why can't you do the same? Why can't you reach out to that influencer on Instagram or, you know, that person's podcast that you listen to every week and ask them what their thoughts are, or invite them, or send them a copy of your product, or give them a free session and then ask them for feedback. Like, in the very early days, it's definitely about seeing what works and what doesn't work.
Yes.
And it's trial and error. You don't know until you've started the business. The reason why I really encourage people to start the social medias early is because you're building your tribe, you're building your community from very early on. So even if you've only got 30 people, that's still 30 people that you can potentially ask, did you want to see me doing more videos about, you know, how to build a business? Or were you wanting to see more behind the scenes of how I actually make my dresses, if you're a dressmaker, for example?
Yeah.
And then they will answer, and majority rules. So then you can follow the majority trail from even that 20 people, 30 people, however many it is, they're still engaged and they're still interested in what you're offering. Why not ask them?
Yeah. Oh, we've had a question actually. Can you create an email list without a website?
Yes, definitely. So there's a few ways in which you can do this. Me personally, I use MailChimp. So you will get a certain amount of emails and email send outs per month for free. And you can send bulk emails to people on that list. Creating a database is so important, because if Instagram or social media of any kind was to close down, you're needing to convert those people from there anyway.
Right.
So I always encourage people to try to, even if you've built your following from social media, getting that person's details over onto an email list. So if you're doing that already prior to even having social media, then you're actually making the workload easier for you for later down the track. So definitely.
And I think as well, like with MailChimp, you can create landing pages, can't you? So if you don't have a website. You can create
landing pages. And all of this, the best part is it's free.
Yeah.
They have a lot of options available for free.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I forgot about that. And also, like, you know, we were talking about the idea that you don't need a website. When we talk about a landing page, what that really is, we should have explained, sorry, is that when people are coming from a certain source, like it could be social media or a leaflet, whatever, it's somewhere for that person to land on. So it's not necessarily a website. It's like what we're saying, it could be a Facebook page, right? Simple, free to create. Could be a Facebook group if you're inviting people into that. I know a lot of people use those. Or it could be even just that you can create landing pages in Facebook adverts as well, which is another way to do it. And if you guys aren't necessarily sure how to go and do social media advertising, Facebook has its own guide to that called Facebook Blueprint, which is exceptional. And there's also like YouTube videos, so many free YouTube videos out there. Like everything I learned, I taught myself a lot of, or I learned from clients as I went into them as well. So a lot of it is about that self-education. And if it feels really overwhelming, outsource it to someone who can help you with. You don't have to be able to do everything. And if you don't have the money, then, you know, dabble in it a bit. But sometimes it's just boosting a post off Instagram, and, you know, sometimes it's just doing it natively from the platform, which doesn't get you as much engagement or reach as if you do it from the back end in Facebook Manager, Business Manager, but it's still very effective and it gets it out to more people, doesn't it?
Yeah. And with, you know, growing content organically, if you don't have a budget, just produce more content, because the more content you're producing, the more opportunities for you to be seen in the market as well.
That's true. And like, you know, talking about the market and being seen, what if what you want to do is really saturated? What if you're like, oh my God, there are so many other people doing what I'm going to do. How am I going to stand out?
So I definitely think that when it comes to standing out in a saturated market, it comes down to personality. It comes down to personal values. So, you know, for example, with a hairdresser, you know, there is a million hairdressers out there, but why is it that you go to the person that does your hair? I know with me, I've been going to my hairdresser for around 12 years. So what is it that makes me keep going back to her? And that's what separates you from everyone else. So for me, I definitely believe it's about building genuine relationships. Yeah. And that comes down to actually caring. So caring about, you know, your client's overall needs, looking after them, making sure that they feel valued, and making sure that, you know, you take those steps to give them that little bit of extra love in terms of, you know, knowing their name, you know, asking them about their day, getting to know them and building a long-term relationship, not just actually, you know, wanting to get the sale and put that money in the bank and in and out. It's about how can you get that client to be rebooking and coming back again. Yeah, that makes entire sense. Yeah, it's exactly like I always say, like a brand is nothing more than how you make people feel. It's often not the product or the service that you're selling, it's the feeling that they remember. Like you probably, when you're going for Nike, you go for Nike shoes because you want to feel powerful and you want to feel like, you know, you can start something, like, you know, training or whatever. And that's how Nike has made you feel. When you go after Apple, it's because that makes you feel like sleek and sophisticated because of the design. Like functionally, Apple isn't any better than anything out there anymore. It used to be like the leader in like for designers and stuff, but it isn't anymore. But still, the way that they make you feel as a whole is like, oh, I'll be, you know, that's stylish and I'll feel good if I feel like that. So essentially, if you make people feel good, like you're saying, then you've got customers, haven't you? Definitely. And it's building trust as well. You know, I know with me, I've got an Apple phone and I've, you know, absolutely love it. And it's because there's trust there in the brand. So when they do release a new phone, I'm like, oh, I'll need to upgrade soon because I've got trust in that brand. And how do you build trust? So building trust is delivering on what you promise, going above and beyond, actually, you know, servicing the needs that your target market came to you for originally. So I always say to my clients, you know, when you build your business and when you think of your business, what's 3 words that you want people to remember you as? Oh. Yeah. And then with those 3 words, make sure that you're actually doing that every single day. Okay. And I find that simplifies it. That makes things a lot easier. And it also lets them be able to look at their whole business, personally and professionally, with a little bit less pressure because they need to deliver on those 3 words. And that's like less overwhelming, isn't it? Having 3 versus 10. Or a million, you know, if you're trying to create content, build an email list, build relationships, convert sales, think of those 3 words and you will be able to answer how you can do those things based upon those 3 words. And I think that goes, like that power of 3 goes for many things. Like I definitely still to this day, try to do too much. And I'm constantly feeling on a personal level, like this is just me, that I'm not achieving, even though I'm achieving in so many ways. And so I got some really good advice that said like, you just need to do 3 things a day on that project. And if you can't do 3, just do 1. Like just make sure you're doing 1 thing every day to move towards what that goal is. And you've got to know what the goal is in the first place. But saying that, it is the era of COVID-19. The world is like in mass fucking trauma. Like everyone's fucked up right now. So do not be too hard on yourself if you don't take that 1 step. As long as you do something at least each week. And if you know what, if you can't, then you can't, but you know where you're going. But that's kind of the goal, isn't it? To do something each day if you can. I think as well at the moment with COVID-19, everything that's happening there, doing that 1 thing a day, even if it's for yourself, like a bit of self-care. It might be getting outside, going for a walk. It might be cooking yourself a home-cooked meal. It could be, you know, just relaxing on the couch and watching some TV because that's not something that you do. So it's listening to your body and your mind about what's going on at the moment, but being aware that that's actually what you're doing. That's the decision that you've made for you for that day. So it's all different for different people at the moment, but definitely with this time, I encourage everyone to put their, you know, mental health as a priority. Because in times like this is when we really need to be making sure that we're looking after ourselves because who are we and what are we if we're not taking care of ourselves?
Oh, it's so true. Oh my God, it took me the longest goddamn time to learn to look after my mental health. And I know there's a lot of other A-type personalities that do the same, and you might not even be A-type to do that. You know, even if, like, I've got a friend who really wants to launch a project one day, and she's super accomplished, but she's also a mom. She also works full time, and
That's
you know,
full on.
the project, right? I'm not a mom. I can't even imagine looking after myself.
Me too, yeah.
But like, she wants to do this project one day, but you know, like, she might not realize that she's actually doing things like when she sits down to watch something on Netflix that actually is self-care, but she's also learning. And not
self-development
to say that
for later.
Yeah, so you can definitely like be banking things while relaxing, and still it could be relevant for the side hustle that you want to take. And then the other thing is as well, like, you just stalk the shit out of other people and what they're doing. Like list the 5 people that you admire, list why you admire them, and list like what are they doing that you admire. And I like for Hstl&Hrt, I definitely took little bits of everything. Like I saw there was coaching directories out there, but they were defunct and they didn't look very cool. I saw like fashion magazines. I don't want to work in fashion, so I brought in that feeling. I saw the meetups and things that people were doing, and I was like, I needed that as well. So I kind of took a hybrid of the things and the businesses and the people that I admired, and I smushed them together to create like a new Frankenstein, a beautiful Frankenstein.
Yes, very beautiful.
Thanks, girl. But my point is like, is not to self-promote, but I only have my own experience, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be new. And it's so, like, there's nothing unique under the sun. Like, even, you know, when you're looking at stuff like Tinder and Bumble that didn't exist before, they were based on like pre-existing businesses, but with new functionality. So you can just take something and maybe add a new spin to it, but there's nothing original really, is there?
Definitely. And the other thing as well is coming off exactly what you're saying is what I say to a lot of my clients, and I use this, you know, theory myself, is your network is actually your net worth. So if you were to put $1 onto every single person's head that you know, and think about how you can turn that dollar into $2. So essentially that could be sliding into someone's DMs, sending them an email, not selling, not educating, just introducing. You don't know when you might need them. It could be today. It could be in a year. It could be, you know, in 3 years. But having that person in your network and knowing them and having a relationship with them where you are building trust, it doesn't always need to be about business. It can just be about building relationships, building your personal brand. And then looking, you know, essentially, whether it's today or in the future, at putting that person to a $1 coin.
I love that.
You know, if they were to tell a friend, you've turned that one person into $2 because now their friend is $1.
Everybody's $1.
Everyone's $1.
That's really cool. I really like that. And I think a good tip that I heard about that was from this coach called Chakra Girl, who talks about chakras, and she's badass. And she does something quite powerful. She sometimes, when she DMs people on Instagram, she does it as a voice note, because not everyone's doing that, and you instantly stand out. And you know, when she doesn't ever sell to people, she offers them so many free services. Not that I'm saying you need to do that, but it's like she offers value first. Or people that have really helped me out, like one person gave me like this whole SEO document strategy for just because, and now that person's going to be the one that when we have money for Hstl&Hrt is going to build the custom website, because
100%,
she's offered me so much, and she never sold to me, but I trust.
And she's invested in you by doing that, and that's what it is. You know, people that invest in your business, that invest in you, you build relationships with them, genuine relationships. You build trust because she's giving you something now for no reason. So imagine what she's actually going to be doing when you're paying her.
Ooh, that's powerful, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like if you're value now, imagine what value you're going to provide when I actually pay you.
Yeah, when I'm actually paying you, exactly. And I think the last thing with the side hustle as well for me, and what I encourage people to think about when they are starting this, is look at your business from the eyes of someone that has $0 and you can't make a spend. So you don't have money to invest. What can you offer today? Without spending money, without having to go out and buy things, without having to upskill yourself, without having to pay for ads, without having to use money for anything, what would you be able to offer someone today that costs nothing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's an opportunity in itself.
Yeah.
Just thinking about before you spend. If you've got a business already, you've started that side hustle, and you're at that moment where you don't have cash flow, looking at the business as, okay, what am I going to do at this stage to go and get leads, generate, you know, sales and income? How am I going to get them with someone that doesn't have any budget?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's exactly.
Because then you are going to start picking up the phone. You are going to start going to events. You're going to start networking. You're going to start pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, because right now you don't have any dollars to pay for ads.
Yeah.
So you've got to build up that network, which turns into net worth.
Yeah.
Putting a dollar on everyone's head.
That's true. And like, there's easy ways to do that by like showing up in videos, offering tips. Like it costs nothing to do something like this. Like, and, you know, really powerful ways to do it on Instagram lives. There's like LinkedIn videos. People go mental for LinkedIn videos at the moment. Like, you can just, and like the amount of people that view your profile after you, like, you know, you've created something. And I've noticed, like, the more times I post on LinkedIn, the more inbound queries I get for coaching or for freelance content work. So just really, I think it's something in showing up as much as you can, as much as your energy allows to, without making excuses for procrastination. As much, like, you know, I would love to do a video every day. I do not have the energy to do that. So I'm doing it twice a week, right? And I think that's okay. That's enough. That's enough for now. And it might not be what everyone else is doing with their 37 posts they do a day, but that's not what I want to do. So it's about knowing what's right for you and finding alignment before you take the action.
And staying in your own lane as well. Because a lot of people as well are focusing on the great things that other people are doing, but we're all going through things ourselves. And that's touching base on what I said before about, with, you know, putting your mental health and your own self-care first as a priority, because at the end of the day, we need to be looking after us, especially in these COVID-19 times. When, you know, things are uncertain and unsure. And this is really, you know, we're in isolation and we're doing everything that we can to survive. But we need to be putting our mental health first, because we can't perform. We can't run businesses. We can't, you know, lead our teams positively with reassurance if we're not in the right frame of mind and we're not able to look after us. So it's so important at these times to be doing that.
That's the truth, isn't it? We've got another question as well here from Sarah McLean. Thank you, Sarah. So she's asking, what about the fear of when you feel like you have zero qualifications for the thing that you want to do?
If you're feeling fear about having no qualification in what you're wanting to do, you can still become an expert in it from learning online. Now, it really depends on the way that you position yourself into the market. So for example, if you're looking to get into business coaching, but you've never really owned a business or been in the small business world, I would suggest not, you know, placing yourself as an expert in that field, because you will lose trust. What you need to be doing is thinking about what you can already do really well. And then furthering those skills. Fear is a crazy, crazy thing. It's uncontrollable. And it's something that sets us, it's everyone feels at different times for different things. But writing down what that fear is, identifying it, and then making a plan of what you can do to overcome it. It doesn't need to be, you know, I'm scared of heights, I'll jump out of a plane. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you are afraid to get onto the, you know, and do a live, then what you need to be doing is practicing doing videos in your camera roll and re-watching them back, not picking yourself apart, but looking at opportunities of what you could potentially do better, and then do it again and again and again until you start to feel more confident in front of the camera before you're posting it.
Oh God, absolutely. Like at the events that we do, I have to like have 5 wines before I get on the stage, because I'm absolutely fucking petrified. And, you know, Sarah, my advice would be, is like, don't let the fear hold you back, because you could die tomorrow. And if you live a life where you keep putting it off, like I put videos off for 10 years, what the fuck for? Like, it's only me that gives a shit. But I think it's as well, it's like, you have to put the community first. It's like, well, who are you trying to serve and who are you trying to help? And it was actually Arlen Hamilton, that's like this amazing investor from Silicon Valley, that said this, and I loved it. She was like, what the message that you have to deliver and the people you have to deliver it to, or the product, is more important than your fear. And you need to take yourself out of the equation. And yes, obviously you're involved if you're the one delivering it, but it's like, you know, what this today, what we're doing is so important for people that want to know how to create side hustles. And that's more important than the fact that I've nearly had an anxiety attack for the last hour about being on video. And it's like, you've got to think about it like that. It's like, if you had 6 months left to live, would you be going forwards and doing this? And if it's a yes, you just need to put that fear aside, because it's a 2,000-year-old brain that we have. And that 2,000-year-old brain used to protect us from mammoths that would be attacking us, or, you know, tigers or saber-toothed tigers. And the fact is that the brain has developed in some ways, but the fear-based part of the brain actually hasn't developed much. And so instead of those mammoths and the tigers attacking us, it's the fear of everyday things, which actually is your brain trying to protect you. So it's kind of saying, okay, well, you know what, anxiety or fear, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm good. I've got this. You don't need to worry.
Definitely. You know, positive affirmations are a huge thing that really help. I know when I wake up in the morning, I do an affirmation. And I know, you know, before walking into an event, there's so many times when I do words of positivity. In terms of fear, my absolute favorite affirmation is, my obligation is bigger than my fear, because I'm so obligated to my client, my consumer, my community, to give them everything I can. And that's more important than any fear that I've got. So being obligated to others is more important than, you know, you feeling fear. So it's just the way that you look at it. But in terms of, you know, trying to develop a business, if you don't have an expertise in that industry, then number one, you either need to be partnering up with someone who does and can bring that to the table, and then you're offering whatever it is that you're offering. Or you need to start to study in that field, whether it be online, through YouTube, through, you know, learning from others, self-development, or enroll in the course that you're passionate about and learn it, become an expert. You know, start your email list while you are studying. Start your Instagram, Facebook. You know? And
cool.
And create all that content of the journey on the way. It's great content. People want to see it. They want to be part of it.
Yeah, they 100% do. Like, before Hstl&Hrt became Hstl&Hrt, it was Business Betty, and it was all about my journey of fucking up loads as I launched this fashion jewelry business. And I wasn't a fashion designer. I'd never run an e-commerce store before, but I shared that journey and actually built the community as it now starts to stand through that. And I think that's really powerful. And, you know, just to kind of wrap up as well, like this amazing workshop, like, what would be your sort of top tips for anybody looking to start a side hustle, just to take away with them?
Yeah. So if it is to, you know, look at a long term to turn it into a, you know, a potential full-time career, I would definitely say find your passion and look at ways to turn that passion into profit.
Right.
Make a plan. So make a plan of action, whether it be short business plan, marketing plan, a financial plan. Yeah. Tell everyone that you know what you're doing. Ask them for help. Ask them to tell a friend. And look at each person as a $1 and turning that $1 into $2.
Yes.
Because your network is your net worth. So even if you're not, you know, selling anything or offering a service at the moment, start building your network. Start building your email list. Start building your following online. Start building your community and your personal brand. Reach out to people. Slide into DM. Send them an email. Pick up the phone. Go to events when they do come back, and, you know, build your personal brand. And the last thing as well is definitely think about what you're spending your money on. Because the honest truth is, no one cares right now if you've spent $100 on a logo or $800. So putting that money to good use. Invest in your knowledge and expertise. Don't invest in small, silly things like, you know, having an $800 logo and going and setting up a website. It's irrelevant. Get a landing page. Create your own logo on Canva. For free. So that would be my takeaways. If you are looking to generate income quickly, a side hustle quickly, you know, I would definitely encourage you, if you have a license, to go to Uber, to go to any of these businesses that are contracting people out, where you can literally start today So Uber's a great one. Airtasker is another one.
Yeah.
You can also offer services through Gumtree as well. Going out and reaching out to locals around you, you know, it could be mowing lawns, walking dogs, cleaning houses, doing people's laundry. You know, going and picking up people's groceries, running errands for them.
That's a great idea.
Cleaning out people's bins.
Yeah.
Like all of these things are things that we can literally start doing today and start generating income today by going and doing, you know, your block where you live. You can walk around and print off some flyers and hand out those flyers in people's mailbox and offer your services. So if it's a side hustle that needs to be generating income today, they would be my suggestions.
Yeah, and you can make those leaflets really stand out, like even by, you know, putting little lollies in there with it and making people stand out, like little moments of joy, because already people associated you with a positive idea. Well, that's
definitely
amazing. Yeah, I love all of these tips, and you have been amazing as always, Jada. And if you guys would like more coaching from Jada, she is available on Hstl&Hrt to book directly through, and I'll be providing the link after that. Where can people find you on social?
So you can find me at Jada_Perfect on Facebook or Instagram, or you can check out my website, www.thebosslady.com.au. They're wanting to get any creative services or social media or graphics and things like that, or come along to one of my networking events for women in business.
Yeah, I definitely need to come to one of those.
You do, definitely.
They look amazing.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for all your questions. Let me know how that was after the session and if you liked it. And there's lots more events coming up in the next few weeks, so stay tuned.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jada.
Thank you so much for having me, Betty.
Bye.